Hey, Soul Tribe. Mel, Intuitive Coach here, excited to bring in another Soul Saturday session. Today, I want to share with you some channeled messages that have come through for you. So please take what resonates, leave the rest behind. But chances are, if you found me today, there may be an important nugget of information you are meant to hear. So I'm just going to dive right in here. Now, Spirit brought the attention to water, and I was seeing a vehicle as well. So this could be connected to a water pump if you are having any unexplained issues or reoccurring problems with a vehicle, or even if you're purchasing a new vehicle here or a used vehicle, but new to you, ask specifically about the water pump. Now, this could be an overlap with maybe plumbing in the home as well, because water represents circulation, it represents flow, it represents pressure. So where water is restricted, pressure is going to build and damage is most likely to follow. So address an issue early rather than after something big may happen or occur. So again, water pump within the vehicle or a water pump maybe within the home. I don't know much about water pumps, but it did feel like there was a buildup of pressure. And sometimes this can even be within our bodies, right? Emotion represents that water. When we think of the cups in tarot, I see that many of you have gone through a period or are going through a period where your emotions are starting to build up, and it's important to alchemize that energy, to shift and do something with those emotions, not to suppress or not to lodge them in the body, but it's important for you to work with that energy now, sooner rather than later. Now, a child, this one is a little bit deep, so bear with me here. A child who was miscarried hasn't left your energy field, and it feels like the soul has returned as the next child for some. All right. And there's recognition here. There's this familiarity, and Spirit is emphasizing that it's not a replacement, but it's a return. So oftentimes when a soul is not ready to fully enter into the earthly realm, right, but the soul contract is intact, they'll come through the next child, or they may come through as perhaps a different family member as well, but they are meant to be a part of your soul tribe. Now, the letters M and also N kept appearing, or maybe even a double M or a double N came through strongly as a confirmation. So it feels like this is a soul agreement that has been fulfilled in some way. So this happens oftentimes, more often than I think we realize, but it can also happen for pets as well, where pets can be reincarnated into a new pet. So we can actually be blessed with the presence of a soul more than once. Okay. Now, sometimes people have asked, Mel, has my grandfather reincarnated into my son? And not that it's not possible, it absolutely is. But in this specific instance, I was seeing a miscarried child. And for those of you that didn't have children after that miscarriage, it just feels like there is a strong energetic connection that you still very much have in your field, okay? But for the majority, it feels like this child went into the next human body. So the name, again, T and M came through. So for example, it could be Amanda, right, has a strong M and N. It could also be double M, like the name Tammy. So if you have an M or an N in your name, or if this resonates with you, I feel like that is a confirmation of, again, a soul contract being completed. Now, heavy metals came through strongly, where there's an underlying issue here for someone that hasn't been fully addressed. And Spirit wants to help you get to the root cause. So for example, if you've had chronic fatigue or neurological symptoms such as brain fog, or maybe even digestive disruption, maybe even skin rashes, this could certainly be a sign of the body really trying to filter out heavy metals such as mercury, arsenic, lead, contaminated tap water, or even soil exposure can hold heavy metals. and even mercury fillings. You guys know the old school mercury fillings. I think I even had some myself. Sometimes that can really leak into the body over time. And if you have had issues with your teeth as well, Spirit is advocating for you to request perhaps a heavy metal blood panel or a urine panel, because healing is really going to begin when you are able to get to the root, or when that source is named. Okay, so heavy metals for some of you, and that also shows up in the category perhaps of mold as well, or some sort of mold exposure, and that could be connected to that water leak or that bursting of the pipes that I was picking up on earlier. Now, there may be a delay in money. Now, it could be around maybe a check, it could be a refund, it could be a settlement, a divorce, an inheritance, or maybe even the sale of a home. But Spirit is clear that this delay is going to come through for you. The delay is actually preventing a larger issue later. So in the meantime, review paperwork, review timelines, deadlines, or expectations very carefully. But I do see here that the money will come through, even if there is a delay. Now, there was a very important message around a young adult child. This could be a teenager, or it could even be someone who is in their 20s who is going through a profound internal transformation. And it could even be an adult child who may be acting immaturely in some way. It feels like there's a confusion around this energy. There may even be some distance or even concern over the well-being or welfare of a child. But again, it feels like more young adult. It feels like someone has the ability to take accountability or responsibility for their actions, which tells me more so of that adult energy. But Spirit is asking you not to interfere with this process out of fear, because we often do, especially as parents. We tend to respond out of fear because we want the best for our children. Now, music, art, creativity, self-expression is really going to be the refuge for this individual. And it's not escapism. I feel like it's more of an integration as they are dealing with some of this internal transformation. And this evolution is going to take some time. And for some of you, this is perhaps a teenager. Again, I wasn't clear on the age. It felt like maybe 16 to maybe 32. I know that's a wide gap, but it does feel like it felt more of a child energy. Or even if this is an adult, they may still be your baby, right? You still want the best for them. So Spirit wants you to know that this evolution is going to take a little bit of time, possibly years for some of you, but it is essential to who they are becoming. And they will come out of this more whole. And that's what Spirit wants you to focus on, right? They will come out of this more whole. Now, I was seeing someone standing on a stage in front of a microphone. Could be a podium there as well, but I was seeing millions in the audience, and it felt like the message was guiding you to not hide yourself. You're not meant to stay hidden. And Spirit shows that your work or your art, this could be your voice or your message, is meant to reach millions over time. And it's not about overnight success here. It's about consistency, dedication, and effort. And I see that your legacy is going to ripple out long after your work is shared. And many will be guided, many will be healed and transformed through your light work. And Spirit is clear on letting you know that this is a soul level assignment. So whether you are writing a book, whether you have a YouTube channel, whether you are sharing your story or advocating for those that are less fortunate, or it could be that you are bringing together nonprofit, it feels like whatever you are being called to do, you will be seen and it's going to ripple out. Okay. So So continue on this path. And it's not because you're doing it to be seen, but I feel like that's how powerful your energy is, because many of you are light workers. You are called to be here to be of service in some way. And this is a soul level assignment. Now, I was seeing a single rose, just one rose, and I was getting a strong CH name, so Charmaine or Charisse or Cherish came through along with the image of a single rose. And the rose represents devotion. It represents acknowledging the purity of love. It can also represent forgiveness. And it feels like the message here was that love continues beyond form. So it could even be that a loved one in spirit is guiding you as you go through some changes of the heart, maybe even preparing or bringing it to your awareness that love is on the horizon. I see love after loss as well. And it feels like there is devotion and a focus on love in 2026 for those of you who want that or have been seeking that here. And it could also be that there's forgiveness and healing regarding someone who has crossed over, okay, or to forgive oneself. Now, I was seeing a calendar with the date May 12th, and it was circled. It was very clear. So you will leave your current role or position by May 12th. Now, I have no idea what date that is, if you know what day of the week, but that day was highlighted. Now, 12 is interesting because in tarot, that's the Hanged Man. And so there may have been a suspension or may have been a delay, but I see that this date is very clear and Spirit is very precise with the timing here. So there's going to be a new offer that either appears, whether through retirement, this could be entrepreneurship, this could be working for a new company or a new income stream is showing up by that date. And this change is going to bring in a sense of relief, a sense of alignment, and it's really going to renew and restore your energy, soul tribe. So financial growth may certainly follow. And the other message that came through very clear was your pay is going to increase or double within 3 years. So May 12th, very precise, and then the doubling or the increase within 3 years. You will be much happier, but there again was an emphasis on the 3 years. And interesting, when we break down 1 and 2, that also equals 3, and 3 in tarot is the Empress. So I definitely feel like you will be much happier for those of you that are looking to align maybe with a new position or a new role. Now, I was seeing pets here, the cycle of life with pets. And this is interesting because it felt like a pet being laid to rest and it felt like a pet being born. Now, this may not be the same cycle for the same person, meaning a pet crosses over in 2026 and you adopt a new pet. I mean, it could be the case for some of you, but what I was feeling was maybe one or the other. So it could be that you have an elderly pet, or you may have a pet that's going through some health issues, but it did feel like this energy, you've known this energy before. If this is a new pet that you adopt, you are going to feel an instant connection. There's an instant spiritual bond. And I also see that if this is a pet that is crossing in 2026 here, it feels like there's this spiritual bond and connection that you have. And if you are questioning if it's time to lay your pet to rest, I feel like you will be given signs, and it's not an easy thing to deal with by any means. And I'm sending you a lot of love, but you know that in your heart of hearts, you don't want your beloved pet to suffer, and you'll know when that time comes. Okay. Now, Spirit wants you to understand, which I know many of you do, that love does not leave your life. It transforms, right? And sometimes that returns in a new form. And many of you, this could be the year where you are inheriting a new pet, or you adopt a pet, or a stray shows up at your door, because many of you are such pet lovers. And this isn't just animals such as cats and dogs. I feel like this could be rabbits, it could be iguanas, it could be, otters. Sometimes we take care, right? People can take care of animals. I think you have to have certain licensing and things like that, but maybe this is part of your profession, or you may rehab an animal, or maybe you're into falconry. It feels like animals of all sorts coming through here for you. Now, I was seeing a failed test. However, the good news is it felt like after someone may have failed, it could be a test, it could be an exam, maybe even a driver's license on the first attempt, possibly even the second. Spirit is ensuring readiness, right? It's not meant to create obstacles or roadblocks. It feels like the delay is intentional for some reason or another. And it feels like by the second or third attempt, success is going to come with more confidence here. And you are being guided to trust the timing, to fully prepare you, or if this is a child, to fully prepare that child to get out there and drive on the road safely, or to prepare someone for the next level. So if there has been some sort of an exam, or again, certification, or something that has been failed in some context or another, remember the stepping stone to success. Failure is right there, because oftentimes we fail before we succeed. And I see that Spirit wants you to know that there is a final attempt where it will go through. Okay. Now, I was seeing an overlooked opportunity, and it felt like an opportunity that once passed on, like you may have passed on this opportunity, or you may have dismissed the return in some way, like if it had come up but you kind of pushed it aside in the mind, or if this was an opportunity to join a new role within the company but you got passed by. It feels like something that wasn't viable or something that wasn't reputable is being offered up as like a new opportunity, or even a golden opportunity, or something that you may not have felt ready for. Maybe you were approached and asked to be worked with in some way. Someone wanted to work with you and you said, now is not the right time. I feel like this exact offer, I mean, it may not be the exact offer, but it does feel like there's another opportunity with the same energy, right? Like the same energetic signature that shows up again, where Spirit is asking you to look again, but through the lens of not assuming, right? We don't want to view it with the lens of like past assumptions. Spirit wants you to go into it with a fresh mindset. So again, an opportunity that perhaps was overlooked, or you may have felt overlooked, is going to return or come back to you in a new form, or it could be a very, very, similar form, if not the same offer. Okay. Now, I was seeing one of the most beautiful weddings ever, and someone is getting married this year. It could be you, it could be a family member. You may attend this wedding, and a loved one in spirit came through with a message that you will wear a piece of them, right? So I don't know if this is like a piece of jewelry. It could be a cufflink. It could be like a symbolic item, maybe even a tattoo in remembrance to someone who has crossed over. And there may even be a song that's played in remembrance. And this is going to be one of the most beautiful, meaningful nights of your life. And I really see that this energy of a loved one is so strong, and you are going to feel it on multiple levels here. And you may see physical signs and symbols of their energy present with you. It just feels like it's surreal and it's magical, and it's going to be very, very beautiful. Now, I was seeing here a complete health transformation. So someone may be undergoing a major physical and energetic transformation, and it can involve weight loss. It can involve like healing from a significant health issue. I mean, some of you, it could even be like overcoming cancer. I see that this change is so profound that you may even unrecognize yourself, but you're going to feel lighter physically and energetically. And I feel like vitality returns in a way that surpasses even your younger years. So this is full recalibration mode. If you have been wanting to transform your health, this is the year to do it. And again, it feels like this is something that you are meant to do, another soul level assignment here. So a complete health transformation for those of you that are on that journey. Now, I was seeing scars. And someone may carry some deep scars. These could be visible. They could be hidden. Spirit wants you to know that these scars do not make you ugly. They do not make you broken, right? They tell a story, but they don't define you. And you are being guided to make peace with this part of yourself and to stop measuring your worth against your wounds, right? This is a year where you are being guided to love yourself from the inside out. Now, this could be physical scars from surgery. This could be a reconstruction. Perhaps there was an area of your body that had to be like removed, or some of you may even have scars from burns, or this could be the deep scars that one has within themselves from trauma, right? They tell a story. We all have that story, but they don't have to define you. And I see that you are making peace with your past. And this is a profound year of love, right? Loving yourself from the inside out. And you are going to see profound changes in your world. I love that message because that can be deep, because we all carry some sort of a scar, especially if you are struggling with something, physical within, on the body even, or if you have felt unlovable, there's transformation coming through for you. Now, I was seeing here someone who passed from, it felt like a heart attack, or it could be something chest related, but it felt like heart was involved in some way. I was seeing a lawyer, I was seeing a briefcase, a paperwork, documentation. It feels like this connects to either wills or estates, financial settlements, maybe even unresolved legal matters, because I was being shown the scales of justice tipped a little bit, which means something isn't fully completed or it feels off. And it feels like within, I want to say 4 to 6 months, or it could even be between April and June, balance is being restored. So Spirit is calling attention to like planning. It could be planning end of life, right? And not from a place of fear, but from a place of responsibility. This may be you dealing with power of attorney, or you looking at life insurance, or you looking at wills or estate planning, things like that. So that was coming through here heavily. And again, the rebalancing taking place. So if there is any sort of family, maybe dispute, or just looking at these types of things, I feel like April to June, or within the next 4 to 6 months, is going to be significant. Now, I love this message I'm about to share with you because I feel like this can apply or be applicable to any one of us. And I was getting here, curiosity is going to change your life. So you may try something this year that feels creative, it feels adventurous, maybe even a bit experimental. And at first it may seem small, right? It may seem casual, like growing a garden or joining a dance studio. I mean, some of you could be taking a class, and Spirit says, do not underestimate this curiosity, because what begins as exploration, your life is going to change and transform, because this is connected to your purpose, is connected to your passion. It could even lead you into entrepreneurship. So let curiosity lead. And I do feel like it's going to transform your life in ways that you never thought possible. So let your curiosity lead this year. And many of you already have an inkling, or you may have already started to open up this channel. And I was seeing a home. There was a few messages around this specific message, so we're going to piggyback off this a bit, but I was seeing a completed home. And it felt like literally a home was being either renovated, or perhaps the building of a home. Someone could be moving into a new one. And it feels like there was a settling energy, not settling for less than one deserves, but more of a grounding, like finally settling after years of transition. And for some, this may coincide with having your last child, or it could be having your last child maybe leave the nest. And for others, it could be a home where you get to watch your grandchildren grow, or it could be a place where someone retires, or it could be a chapter of blending families, or it just feels like this home environment feels complete in some way. And it could even go back to the pets. Someone could have maybe a new pet coming into the family, maybe even a new family member joins while you live in this home, but it does feel sacred. It feels grounded. It feels safe. It feels supportive. And if you have had ongoing projects, this could be a year where you get a lot done, right? And you're like, wow, I just did 5 years worth of stuff this year. And some of you could be like even flipping a home and moving to a location that feels a lot better aligned with your energy. So again, it feels like a completion of some sort of home energy showing up here for many of you, or home projects. And the last message, I was hearing some beautiful voices coming through, including David Bowie, Elton John, Stevie Wonder. So those songs, I can't tell you which ones, but I was hearing it was almost like a playlist, and it just kept coming through, but those names came in strong. So it feels like there may be some sort of remembrance or a connection to a loved one in spirit, may have loved Elton John, or a song that one of them sang. It doesn't feel like it's a trio of all of them coming in together. It feels like separately, perhaps. So for example, Elton John, Tears in Heaven could hold meaning for someone. And it feels like a song by one of these artists is coming through that could bring in healing, or bring in a deeper connection with you and spirit. And I also see here that there could be something in the news regarding one of these artists. Now, don't jump to conclusions. It doesn't have to be negative. And I believe that 2 out of the 3 are still living, but there could certainly be like a reenactment, or could be some news around maybe a family member of one of them as well, or it could be something quite beautiful in remembrance. But it does feel like one of those people may hold significance for someone out there. So that is what I have for you, Soul Tribe. Thank you so much for being here, being a part of this community and this tribe. I love doing these channeled messages. Let me know if anything hit home for you, if you felt a connection at all with any of the messages. And if you like this type of Soul Saturday session, do let me know in the comment section below. After all, this channel is for you guys, and these Soul Saturday sessions are for you. So whether you want to learn about spirituality, or you want me to dive into channeled messages, or look at anything that you're curious about, that we all can come together and connect with spirit and grow and evolve and learn, let me know. Drop it in the comments section below. Thank you so much for your time today. Lots of love.